Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it is rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, and Mark Doxy. Good to have you all.
Hello, folks.
Beep,
What's
beep.
up?
Ranty,
Yeah.
Ranty, Alan Beck was the Scottish fella that lives in Denmark, isn't it?
I'm sure it is Ali B.
No, it's not Alan B.
Yeah,
Hello, boys. It's not him.
Ali B.
Alan Beck is a Scottish fella that lives in Denmark. He's
Yeah.
a book
Right.
author.
That's Ali B.
Oh, Ali B. I thought you said Alan B. Not the.
No, not Alan B. No,
Oh, right. Sorry. My.
Alan B is the naughty doxer that doxed Darwin for no good reason.
Yeah.
The naughty
Yeah.
boy.
Ali B. Alan Beck. 50 quid. He donated 50 quid towards the campaign for Sandra, so thanks very much. She'll appreciate that, and I'm sure she's in the chat. She'll say it as well.
Shout out to Ali B.
Still got a link on. What's her view count like? So I'm going to say this now. I'm pretty sure that link is the one to Sandra's channel, so I'm going to spam the chat with it a little bit. But she's like so close to getting to 1,000 subscribers, and I'd really love to see her getting up to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this stream. I mentioned it at the end of the last one while you were talking about a GoFundMe, which we also popped a plug for. And yeah, as a YouTuber to another YouTuber, you just want to see people get to 1,000 subscribers at the moment, because it's a real milestone since they changed the rules. So you can't monetize your channel unless you've had a certain number of views, which is actually pretty easy to attain, or view time actually, I think it is. But the bit that's not is the 1,000 subscribers. You do have to put in a hell of a lot of work to get there. Ranty knows this only too well, having got there and then lost his channel and is now trying to get there again. So you know, hopefully everyone will sub to Sandra right now, and we'll get her over 1,000 subs before the end of the day. That'd be brilliant.
What if she? I think she's got 945 now, so that's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool, because so it's definitely gone up a bit. Hello, Flat
Yeah,
Earth
thank
Badder.
you.
How you doing? Good to have you, buddy. Can you hear us? Say hello.
Hey Nathan.
Hello,
Ooh.
good to have you.
Just in time.
Just in time. Yeah, there's camera on and everything, so yeah, pretty safe bet. Good to see you, my friend. What should we call you? Badder? Is it B-A-D-A? Badder?
Or Barda.
Baba, yes. I'm Flat Earth Baba from India.
Yo.
Good to have you. What time is it there?
It's 7:45 p.m. 7:45 p.m.
Oh,
here in India.
Nice time. Sitting back, eating some food, probably.
Come again, please.
You are ending your day, having food, winding down, no work.
Yeah. I was kind of smoking a joint.
Possibly a bit too much detail, but good to know. Smoking a joint and unwinding. Lovely to know.
Do you happen to have a YouTube channel yourself, or are you just here for the debates?
No. I am joining for the first time. I do watch Nathan Oakley's channel, but not very regularly because he comes on almost every day. Still, I watch a lot of other Flat Earth videos and I have been awake for about a year now.
Wow, congrats. Do you see it very flat where you live?
Yep, it's flat, and I'm getting my P900 hopefully.
Wonderful.
9900. What? I didn't catch that. 9900.
He said he's getting his
I'm not
P900.
Oh, a P9. Gotcha. P900. There's a really cheap one going. It might have a few flaws.
Yeah.
It's not cheap for me. I don't know.
Now, there's
I've
going to be
been
a few.
saving. But
I think there's going to be second-hand ones out there that, if you pay a little bit
no,
over, you'll get a really
I,
good one, because there's going to be people who just buy these things as toys
I,
and want the latest one, so they'll be selling their P900s to get what Ranty's just ordered, and that means there's going to be an abundance of second-hand P900s, which is great.
India. See, I'm from a small town in India, and things are quite different.
Are you close to the coast?
No, that's what I was saying. I'm pretty far, around 400 to 500 kilometers away from the coast, but it's not very far.
Are you near? Are you close to any
Got
flat
ride and
lakes?
I can ride there, but I just haven't got the time to do that yet.
Any lakes close by?
Yep, there's one, but it's about how much? It would be 6 kilometers from shore to shore, from one side to another.
Oh, that's
Okay.
perfect for doing experiments.
Yeah, that's not bad. I have a telescope and I've observed, I would say, the moon very closely and other planets as well, but all I could see are just lights in the sky. I don't know about people who have more powerful telescopes, but from my own telescope, I haven't been able to see anything beyond just lights in the sky. I was able to see the rings of Saturn, but not the moons of Jupiter. Maybe you could see those with more powerful telescopes, and I don't know how Galileo was able to see even the shadow of those moons, based on which he could calculate the distance and everything. All that hogwash. It's all bullshit. I know. Still, that's what we believe. But I couldn't do it. I hopefully think that uh, the P900.
Do you have a camera now? Have you made any observations already?
No, I just have an iPhone. I haven't made any observations. It's all what I've done on my telescope. That's all.
Have you
That's fair
spoken
enough.
to your family about it? Are they sort of are they getting around to it, or are you like the odd one out sort of thing?
See, I'm I was talking to a friend of mine lately, and he knew about this platter thing. I had told him, and currently, people all around me, my family, as well as all of my close friends, and I have been, matlab, that's my chutzpah. You could say that I even made a Facebook post about it, and I talked to a few friends of mine, my close friends, before doing that. They said that people are going to think that you're crazy, but I said I'm okay with it now. I don't care about the fucking sheeple. So
No swearing,
it
please.
made I made a Facebook post, and there's no hiding it right now. I even gave my so on my Facebook there are my college friends, postgraduate, undergraduate. I am a postgraduate right now. I had a pretty decent job, but I left it, and thank God I did, because just after that my only aim was so. Should I go in more details? Are you guys listening?
Yeah, we're listening. Yeah.
So it all started around 3 years back when up to I'm 27 right now, and I have been a brilliant student. That's what my parents had focused all my life, and it's quite different. I can't explain, but you can understand that things here are very different. I am from a lower middle class of the Indian society, from the eastern part of India. You must know about Calcutta, which is Kolkata now. So I live pretty close to that place, and I was there for the past 3 years almost now. That's the big city nearest to where I live right now. And I was placed, I did not even understand how the first 23 or 24 years of my life passed. And at that age, I met, or I should say, I talked to a person who was not from my own country, matlab, a Caucasian. I mean, I met a Caucasian girl and she told me her story. She was 18. I could not even imagine before she revealed it to me that she's 18. I was thinking she was approximately my age, but it was the first time that I realized that what the fuck am I doing with my life? This girl is 18 and she has come to India because she wanted to take a break. I could not have even thought about taking a break when I was 18 because I was slogging my ass out for all those competitive examinations, and just that's how things are. And ultimately, after my engineering, I did my MBA, and through my MBA colleges, you don't have uh, placement scenarios in your colleges, but it's a pretty huge scene in India. So I got a pretty good placement by Indian standards. My parents really happy. It's kind of a very well-known company in India. The Tatas, you must know about the Tatas. So I got placed in the flagship company of Tata, Tata
The
Steel.
food company, right?
No, Tata
No,
owns steel
not
and
Tata is
Tata
also in
owns.
food, but its flagship product where it all started is steel, Tata Steel.
Doesn't Tata own
India's
Jaguar and Range
Tata
Rover?
Motors
Oh, Tata.
has
Yes, I know
Yeah.
Tata.
Tata.
Yeah, Tata make one
Uh,
of the. I think it is probably the cheapest car on the planet, the Tata Nano. This little tiny car.
Tata Motors is also one. So all those plants are present in my current city where I live right now. The
Can I ask a
plant
couple,
of
couple of
Tata.
questions about your, just specifically about your education? Your education was in India, right?
Yeah, yeah, all of it.
Right. And were you taught Western cosmology, or I'll come on to your religion in a minute.
We were taught Western cosmology. The education system after our first Prime Minister, uh, Jawaharlal Nehru, it was all Westernized.
So it's
People
all
before that were a little different, and the education system hadn't gone completely public. But thanks to Britishers, some 200, 300 years ago, we lost all of it, and the prime ministers and all those ministers that were put in India by Lord Mountbatten, Pandit Nehru, and Mahatma Gandhi were all just puppets, and they did just what they wanted, and it's all fucked up right now. I mean, so Indians have gone crazy on the internet, and I am so ashamed of it. I have this account. You could, so there are so many things to tell you. Flat Earth Baba. I became Flat Earth Baba after I have an account on Twitter. Obviously, I couldn't do all those things. I'm a very introverted kind of a guy, studious, had been studious all my life, but after getting a good enough job, a decent job, I was nowhere. Then I got the time. I did everything that one wants to do with enough money in your own hand. And for me, the case was that I get satisfied very easily. I have an iPhone on which I'm video call right now, and I have a pretty nice bike. I have a Continental GT,
very
and I
nice.
love
Very, very nice.
and I yep.
Soft top or hard
So
top?
and I tell my friends, so what
Hard top,
else?
soft top, hard top. That's piqued my interest, mate. You're not going to get off that subject quickly.
But I have 140 kilometers on it per
What's your
hour.
is your car?
140
What's your
kilometers.
car? What's your car? What type of car is it?
It's not a car. It's a bike.
Bike.
Royal Enfield Continental GT,
Oh,
Cafe
okay.
Racer.
Continental GT here is something else. Don't worry. I thought you were talking about a car.
Yeah, it's also a bike. It's a Cafe Racer, and it was very famous in London in the 60s or 70s.
It's not the Royal
Okay.
Enfield, is it?
Cafe Racer, Royal Enfield. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
So
I've still
that's
got a
the
couple of questions though, because this came from someone in the chat. I think it was Bill G. Just want to ask you a quick question. So, are you a Hindu?
Yep, I am Hindu.
So, is your cosmology a flat Earth cosmology?
No,
No.
I do you know John Smith's
Yeah,
Globe
Globe
Live
Eye.
channel?
Yes.
I comment on that at times. I had commented, and he also appreciated a few of my comments. So recently, some guy was asking about the lunar eclipse and everything. So I had commented my 2 cents over there. So I explained that my mother, okay, she reads, she still reads those ancient Hindu calendars. So we are another just one regional dialect of Hindi for the Hindu sect, but we have a different language, and my mother reads in that language. And she, when she read it to me, it's still written over there. We have eclipses right now, and my mother still follows that ancient calendar, on which to this day, in printed form, they write that Rahu or Ketu is going to obscure the moon from this moment to this moment, and they had been doing it for the past, I don't know how many millennia now. So Rahu Ketu is pretty preeminent in our cosmology and astrology. I used to think that astrology is actually fake science, but after flat Earth, I still don't know much about astrology, but I can't just dismiss it altogether. I just can't outright reject it. So I'm still, because there have been events in my family where my grandma or grandparents are very fond of one astrologist, and he had been able to predict the exact month, the exact year of events that no one could have thought of. Events in our own relatives' lives, but still,
Like
things
what?
that
Hold on. When you say
this
events, do you mean as
events
in?
as in this person is going to get a job in 8 months' time, and that person had been looking for job. So
Okay.
there's no use looking for more jobs right now. So keep calm. You search, apply for a few jobs. After 6 months, see, after around 8 9 months, you are going to get a job. He got it, and then the astrologer had warned my grandparents about him not getting married or something. That also, that prediction was also pretty correct. So I'm saying my grandparents do believe in astrologers. So my only reason I said, or I asked them, that I'm going to meet this astrologer, but I haven't yet been able to. Still, my only reason is that I want to know more about astrology, and I want to know more about that guy who is able to predict so many things. And if there is really something about it, I'm going to talk about flat earth to him openly. I have no shame right now. So I can talk to him about flat earth as well. That I think the earth is flat. Now you tell me how much you can help me.
Good stuff.
I'm do that, but haven't done it yet. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Thank you for sharing all that with us.
But
Awesome
do I
stuff.
need to show my face right now?
Say again?
No, no, no.
How can I just put it off? I don't have any problems, but that's okay.
You're just a bit quiet.
I
I've
don't.
had to turn the whole Hangout app, so my apologies to the audience if Ranty just blasted your eardrums.
Sorry.
I did not get you. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying you're a bit quiet. That's all. Don't worry.
I'm
the
a bit
top.
quiet
Do you want to turn your camera off? Is that what you're asking?
because I can't look at any of you guys. I can't see any of you guys. So why am I only the one?
Hang on.
It's just the way your phone's set up. I wouldn't worry.
Okay.
I'm on.
I talk to you guys. If you guys also come and show your face, I don't have a problem. Matlab, you get it.
I'm pretty sure Ranty's actually CGI. It doesn't really exist. Him and everything he produces.
Okay, who is this guy? I don't know you.
Ranty. Oh, Mark. The guy who's on now is Mark Doxey, resident
How's
curve hunter.
In a blue sweater.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm the guy that knows about Royal Enfields.
Oh, thanks a lot.
All right,
Hi, how old are you?
that's a cheeky question. 1960. I was born in.
Oh God,
So
my
I'm.
father was born in 1959.
Oh, he's an old boy then.
Yeah.
So you follow cricket, do
What?
you?
Yeah, I used to, but just I know right now that it's all fixed. I
Yeah.
can't doubt it.
I think this gentleman may be another Brian Mullen for us with his engineering background.
I understood all of it, and like I said, I have been a very good student. My graph has been coming down since childhood, and I just survived uh, BTech and MBA.
Yeah.
Still, I am pretty good with almost any subject, and I am not just a flat earther by listening to a few hours of YouTube videos. I could understand even Brian Mullen's every word, and I have done much more than just what Brian Mullen used to do.
Well,
So
listen,
I'm
we hope you join us regularly and contribute to any of the conversations.
I would try to. Sure.
Do you know how to turn your face off if you want to turn it off?
No, no, no. If I can look at you, it's better this way.
All right. Okay. No problem. Go away.
No, there are
Put your
people
face
like
on.
that. Pete Shea's a bit like that. He just prefers to be on camera and, will moan if you're not.
We've got a chap in India there. Come on, in further in. Oh, let's wave.
Do I need to? You need to ask me questions. I don't have problems talking, but I can't think of anything. I was just.
Don't worry about it.
I would
It's
like
no
my
worries.
present. Don't mind.
Sometimes we have these lulls in the show. It's all good though.
So ask me things. I will answer then.
What? Gravity? Go on, sleeping warrior. Ask him a question.
Yeah, ask me a question.
How about the molten iron core? What do you think about that? The perpetual, self-perpetuating molten iron core.
What do I think about?
The self-perpetuating molten iron core that the heliocentric says is in the center of the Earth.
I don't believe it. I mean, I'm a flat earther right now. I don't completely understand what you're trying to ask.
Okay, give us your number one reason, or where would you start if you were to speak to a glober? Where would you start to support your position as a flat earther?
Water,
Water
water,
is
yep.
always level, yeah.
Water is always level. 70% of Earth is water. So how can it be a globe?
Good place to start.
So what's your name? Is it Barda? Did you say, or Barber?
Baba, you understand the meaning of Baba? Like we have Baba Ramdev.
No, I don't understand it.
Babas are saints who have ascetic, who have become completely austere, who lead an austere life and are hermits to some extent, you can say. But nowadays in India, even the Babas are coming on TV and media
Is that to
everywhere.
do with is that to do with the caste system? Is it?
No, 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 no. Babas are people. You don't know Ramdev Baba. How is this possible? Baba Ramdev even came, he has been everywhere, all around the world. The guy who does yoga,
So he's some sort of guru, is he?
yeah, kind of
Ah,
a guru.
right, okay. For into meditation and yoga.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
name basically means that. My name is Tapas,
Okay. Good man.
Taps. Get it? So my
Yes.
name is Tapas, and it means someone who leads an austere life, who have given, who abstains from all pleasures of life, kind of. And when I told my dad about me being a flat earther, and then he said, "Why did you quit your job?" So I gave him a whole theory on why I shouldn't be doing a slave's job. And right now, I have been a teacher. I'm a teacher here in India. So I have been a teacher for past 1.5 years after quitting my job. So I am kind of able to survive myself. My parents are self-sufficient. I have an elder brother who is a medical doctor. So we are all kind of good in our own ways, and I have no such financial commitments towards my parents or anyone else. So I did not need to give 10 to 12 hours of my life to something I had no clue about. And even my bosses there knew it, that this guy has no clue. He does his job as much as is asked, but he has no motivation, no enthusiasm towards his work. He knows that this work is shit, and still he has to do it because he gets paid at the end of the month. And I, like I said, by Indian standards, my parents were really happy that my son got into this company, a very reputed company, and people who get into my company generally do not leave it. And that was the lie that I told them, the interviewers, while they were interviewing me in my college for their recruitment. So I told them, I like this company because once you get in, you don't need to think about. So they told me, so you kind of telling me, you are calling me old bugger. So no, no offense, but yes, that was a lie, and I knew it, and I was somehow able to fool that old bugger, and I got placed in that company. But my bosses there knew, and when I was leaving, they said maybe you are taking this decision too early, but somewhere down the line, they knew that this knows what he's doing, and he just doesn't want to carry on. Hey, Mark, where did you go?
Just dealing with children, probably.
Who else is listening? You are listening, right?
Say again, I'm having to toggle your volume because you're very quiet and I don't want the hangout to blast out. So that's what my main focus has been on when anyone else talks, turning them down.
Hey, he's back. So, Mark, where was I?
You were stepping out of the world of commerce to
I
simplify your
was,
life.
yeah, and my kind of best friend from college, my roommate, who knows pretty much, who knows me inside out, and I told him before quitting that all I want to do is that I just feel that I don't know enough about this world.
Hmm.
And since you can realize this, you are saying this right now, that I don't talk when I think what I'm saying is not founded on very strong grounds or is not true. So most of the time, I used to keep quiet before flat Earth because I don't want to say anything. I don't know anything, and I told my very close friend that this is the only thing that I want to do. That I want to know everything about everything, because then I can talk to anyone and tell them that you are wrong, or that was my aim. And after a year, I was calling that guy, and he laughed at me so hard that you have gone crazy, or maybe you are watching too many conspiracy theories nowadays. But after a few months, he is a very reasonable guy, and I knew that. And at that time, I am on Twitter, so I post, so I say, for flat earthers, for globe heads, cognitive dissonance is, you know what it means. But for flat earthers, cognitive uh, wisdom is tolerance of that cognitive dissonance. You have to be patient, you have to be calm. You were there at some point in your life, so you have to understand. So I was very calm, and I could see his cognitive dissonance in rage mode. Still, after a few months, he came to me and he said, okay, the thing about satellites you were saying is correct, and the thing about no one going to space, yeah, that's also correct. So how is it like? Is there a dome? Or so then he took a lot of download from me and said that if this is the end of it, it's kind of uh, despairing that we have been told lies all our lives and there is no purpose. I tried to make him understand on this is when you realize that you actually have a purpose in life and it is not to work. So he was my roommate. He also got placed in another company and he has been slogging for 3 or 4 years right now. I quit, but I am still in many of the WhatsApp groups of my friends from college, and all of them are crying. No one loves his job. Everyone thinks that his boss is the worst boss in the world. Everyone thinks that his company is the worst company in the world, and no one is happy. Everyone is just posting their fake happy life on Facebook. I don't post on Facebook, and the flattered post. This is why my posts matter, because people know he just doesn't come here to chit. He uses this platform to say something that he really wants people to know. And when I did that post, since I have not been very active in media,
Alan.
so no one really.
Hello, boys. How's it going?
Hi, Alan. Good to see you or hear you.
Have we settled the downwards acceleration slant force yet?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Arwin's downwards acceleration slant force.
You'll have to take that with Arwen. That's quite unique to him.
Well, you were supporting him.
No, I wasn't.
Where's Riley?
I wasn't supporting him. I hear what he's saying, but I'm not supporting him.
Well, you were kind of saying there's some kind of downward force.
Yeah, but that's not. It's not. Arwen has a very complex description of it.
Complex.
Yeah, I don't understand him. Are you just trying to stir things up as usual, Alan? Are you?
No, just coming in Friday before bowls.
So, would you like to speak to Barber, Alan? Would you
My
like to ask
barber.
him some questions?
I have a barber. He's called Ronnie Yule. Short back and sides.
Do you ever take life seriously, Alan?
When one gets to my age, dead men don't tend to fall out of windows.
Talking
Well,
about dead men
unusual.
falling out of windows, there's a rumour circulating about you. Do you know what that rumour is?
Great.
Hey, are you guys on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter.
No, I don't do Twitter. No.
Do you know what the rumour circulating about you is, Alan?
No.
There's a rumour going around that you're an ex-assassin, very deadly man. Just interesting.
really?
Just interesting that you mentioned about throwing people out of windows. That was all.
No, I usually shoot them from a great distance.
Well, that's precisely what your the rumour was asserting, that you are an ex-assassin, a man to be feared.
You've probably been talking to the Spurs Gizmo.
I've no idea who told me that, to be honest, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning to you.
Well,
See what
he's
you
the only
thought.
snake I know.
So, can you confirm or deny this rumour?
I can do neither.
You can neither confirm nor deny that you're a deadly assassin. Fair enough.
As long as we're talking about him, he's happy.
That smoke looks pretty good there, Barber.
It's just a cigarette.
Nice work on the camera, by the way, Ranty.
Thank you very much.
Please read the manual.
I will try.
Ditto.
You seem in a good mood, Nathan?
I'm always in a good mood. Depends who comes on the panel. I can very quickly change my temperament, I assure you.
Yes. Well, you did do acting.
I did. That's correct.
Hey, Nathan Oakley, you came on Vice a few days back, right?
No, it was about a year ago.
But the video was uploaded recently, though.
A week back, I guess.
Yeah.
So they put it on the Vice website, and it was one of their most popular videos. And then they held it off YouTube. And then, like you say, about 2-3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago, they stuck it up on YouTube, which I was quite surprised because the Vice channel has got. Oh, you go ahead.
Paint flat earthers in a bad light always.
Hi, Gods. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Good. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Good to have you.
Thank you.
So yeah, the Vice channel has got nigh on 10 million subscribers. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that video is now the most subscribed to channel that's done a video on Flat Earth to date. So lucky me. But for a while it was right at the top of the list if you search Flat Earth. I don't think it is anymore. But yeah, search Flat Earth and you'll find that Vice video within, the top 5 videos. But yeah, I was chuffed to bits with that.
No, I loved Shane Dawson's flat earth video as well. The one that he did with his elder brother or something. Shane Dawson, who is the...
Does he have a microphone? Is he just shouting from India?
Shane Dawson, who's he? I don't know who Shane Dawson is.
Shane Dawson, his channel has 13 million subs.
Okay.
So they did their thing on Flat Earth a month back, I guess. I liked it. It was pretty good.
That was quite funny, though, Alan. I'll give you that.
Thanks, Ranty. It is Friday. Are you going out tonight?
No, I'm going to stay in and be a bore.
Coronation Street.
Coronation Street in the hot toddy. Put my feet in some slippers, dressing gown on.
Thought you'd bloody retired, Alan.
I came in to cause trouble. You weren't here.
Oh. I've got to go down the post. Has it finished? Are we offline?
No.
No.
I've got to go and pick up a parcel at the postie. So I'm going to be here, but only in spirit.
Excellent.
Back in a bit. Well, you'll be done by the time I'm back, but catch us later.
See you later. Sandra has 950 subs now, so we've got a part way, another 50 to go.
Oh, are we not going to get her up to 1,000 before the end of this stream?
Did you say you was going to have a hissy fit if you didn't get it to 1,000?
Yeah, damn it. There's 180 people watching. Surely we can get her another 50 subscribers before the show is out.
Maybe people want to see you have a hissy fit.
Maybe. I don't think that would be a reason to refrain from subscribing to such an excellent videographer's YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to P900 Cool Pics right now, everybody who's in the chat. What are you playing at? You're all wrong. What are you doing? Get on with it, now.
I subbed her.
Thank you. That's good of you. What's your story then, Gods?
I kind of got a question. I'm trying to understand the difference between mass and weight. I'll be honest, I don't see how you can even prove mass from what I understand of it.
Tell us what you understand about it.
Well, from what I understand, weight is when you weigh something, it creates a weight. And mass, they say, is the amount of matter that's in something, and it's more of a constant. Whereas if you have mass and it weighs 100 pounds on Earth, and there's someplace else in the world where the so-called gravity is half as the amount of Earth, it's only going to weigh 50 pounds in that area. Where weight, I don't know, it seems confusing to me.
There is no place on earth where something is going to weigh less or more much because of gravity. They say it that if you weigh it on maybe the moon, it is going to weigh less, but nowhere on earth, I guess it is going to weigh any different.
That's my whole point. So why differentiate between mass and weight? It doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't something just weigh something and that's it?
No, the weight is has another unit. The unit of weight is Newton, which is force. So it is the force when you keep something on a table, even. So there is a force that thing applies on the surface of the table. If it is very heavy, and the table is too flimsy, let's take a glass table. So there is a limit to the amount of force that the surface of the glass can take before it yields to the weight, and the weight is going to fall. So that is the force. A force has to be applying in order to break the surface of the glass, and mass is simply the total amount of it. The unit of it is just kg, and it is, you can say, always relative. So the mass of 1 kg uh, of iron and 1 kg of cotton is going to be same, but the volume is going to be very different.
Yeah, who cares about the volume though? It's still weight. It doesn't matter if you have uh a pound of lead and a pound or a kg if you want to operate in kgs. It doesn't matter. I don't care because it just seems like semantics to me. But if you have a
Yes,
kg of lead and a kg of wood or
use also.
steel, who cares what they're made up of? They're still a kg. This seems to make, and maybe I'm not that smart and I don't claim to be smart, but it just seems to complicate the issue. You talk about what they're made out of. I just think who cares what they're made out of? They have weight.
They have different units. The unit of mass is kg. Now,
Okay, so let's operate in kgs then. Can you weigh in kgs? Can you weigh something in kgs?
so when you typically buy something in kgs, so they measure it with something equal, and there is some amount of force that amount of thing is going to apply on your physical balance, or maybe the electronic ones these days.
So how do you get the the mass of something equal to prove the mass of what you're trying to figure out the mass of? Why is someone laughing? Is that a stupid question?
No, that was Motley laughing. You know the story of Archimedes and having to trying to work out whether the king's crown was genuine gold or had it got a bit of impurities in it.
Actually, I don't, but it just seems like a circular argument to try and prove mass. You're saying that I have a 1 kilogram piece of something to prove that something else weighs 1 kilogram in mass, but how did you prove that your 1 kilogram piece of something to prove that your something else weighs 1 kilogram of mass? Just seems like total nonsense to me.
That's
Do
And
you
just
know
like I
what
said, I'm not.
the mass of 1 gram is 1 cubic centimeter of water at 4 degrees
yeah,
centigrade.
that's just accepted by everyone. So it has been accepted that 1 cubic centimeter of water is equal to 1 gram.
So who
Now you
cares?
Well, it's a reference point. That's all.
Right, right. But you could
Mass
make.
never changes. Mass never changes. Weight does.
Yes, I would
How,
agree with that.
how can you prove that?
Yes.
How?
Your weight would change whenever you're in a lift and it's going downwards. Momentarily, when it's accelerating to its natural speed, you would appear lighter in your weight, but your mass has remained the same.
Okay, so what happens if you put a whatever you said, 1 cube,
1 cubic
So your
centimeter of
cubic,
water.
yeah, 1 cubic centimeter of water, and you do the same thing to it, it's going to change too when you move it.
Its mass
Yeah,
doesn't
you can
change.
calculate it.
Yeah, but
And you
are
can
we
even
not just arguing semantics at that point?
No,
Okay.
Can you expand on that, Alan?
it's not
if you
semantics.
Oh,
Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Weight is the measurement of the gravitational pull on the object.
But how do you prove that
Exactly.
matter?
By
It's just
experimentation.
weight. But you can't measure mass while you're moving, correct?
The mass is already known.
No, but you guys gave an example that if you're in a lift, right, and it starts to descend, your weight, if you're standing on a scale, your weight will change on the scale, which I agree to be true.
The mass
But your
no,
doesn't.
the weight
mass,
will.
but the mass doesn't,
That's
right? So
that's
how do
tricky.
you
That's what
prove that your
weight will.
mass hasn't changed while you're
because when
traveling on that downward path?
Weight, the weight is not going to change if the instrument, whatever you are using, the balance you are using to measure it, is also in the lift. So that is not going to show any change in your weight either. But actually, you feel weightless, and you can calculate by how much you are feeling weightless by Newtonian mathematics. That's simply
So
mass. Is
your
the
weight doesn't change either. It's just affected by the movement, just like your mass is affected by the movement as well. You can't measure
it's like
mass while you're
it's like
moving.
free
It's
it's like free fall.
semantics.
That when that acceleration downwards is equal to the acceleration due to gravity, you experience free fall, you experience weightlessness. Your mass is not going anywhere, but even then, if someone measures it, even uh, the instrument also has to move by the same acceleration in order to measure you. So at all, you are not going to feel anything because the even balance is weightless and you are weightless.
Yeah,
Do I make sense?
I like I said, I'm not that smart, but I just don't see the consistency of your guys' argument because you can't figure. You're saying that you're weightless when you move down at a certain rate or whatever. That's totally fine, but it just seems like semantics at that point
It's not
because
semantics. Why is it
yeah,
semantics? If you're in free,
because
if you
right,
weigh 13 stone in a plane, right?
yeah,
And you're going to free fall and you're floating.
yeah,
You
yeah.
still weigh 13 stone.
That's right, exactly. So guess what? The
That
weight
is
hasn't
mass.
changed either. The weight hasn't changed either, though. If I weigh, if
Why are you
okay,
floating?
listen, hold up. I weigh, let's say I weigh 200 pounds. I don't go in stones. I don't understand them. So let's just to
Well,
make things a little bit easier for me, let's use pounds, and I'll keep the numbers round. So I weigh 200 pounds, right?
you would be round if you were 200 pounds.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how that 200 pounds looks, but yeah. So let's say I weigh 200 pounds, okay? So if I go into free fall, I might feel weight. I agree that I'll have the feeling of weightlessness,
No,
possibly.
your mass is still the same. Your weight changes.
But my weight is still the same as well. That's what I'm saying. Weight and mass to me are the same thing. It's just semantics because I didn't all of a sudden become not 200 pounds.
But
Once I stop falling, if I
why are
stand on
you
a
floating?
scale,
Why
I'm
are you
still going to be
floating?
200 pounds.
Why are
Huh?
you floating?
You're not.
Your
I'm
mass,
not technically.
You're not.
Technically, I'm not floating. I'm falling.
you're still occupying the same amount of space, but you're floating.
No, you're not.
I'm not floating. I'm falling.
You and the plane are both falling, and you're just falling at the same rate relative to the plane. So it might appear to you inside the plane like you're floating, but you're not. You're falling at the same rate as the
Exactly.
plane is. That's it.
And the atmosphere within the plane, so it gives you the feeling of weightlessness.
So even when you skydive, you feel weightless.
You
Don't
still weigh
need
200 pounds when the plane levels out, and if there's a scale on the plane, you step on the scale, you still weigh 200 pounds. You didn't. It's just because you can't actually step on the
see
scale when you're following. Big deal. It doesn't change
what
your weight.
Gods, if you were holding up a 8 stone a weight above your head,
Mhm.
and I came behind you and give you a little bit of assistance to the 8 stone,
Right.
you would feel a difference in its weight, wouldn't you?
Of course, but it still weighs 8
Yeah,
stones.
that's it. We're on the same page then.
Right.
It hasn't. Its mass hasn't changed, but you just had a bit of assistance.
Its weight hasn't changed either.
Okay, fair enough. There is a separation.
That's my
between...
point. That's my point. Where's the separation between weight and mass? Because weight doesn't change.
It's just the language. It's the language. We know what
Yeah, but
weight
it's stupid
means.
language. It's semantics. Because
That's
you know
why
what?
it's semantics.
If you help me hold up that 8 stone weight, then let's say you're holding 4 stones and I'm holding 4 stones. Together, we're still holding 8 stones. So relative to me, yeah, I'm only holding 4 stones. But relative to the mass, in quotation marks, or the weight, that's 8 stones, it hasn't changed.
Yeah, nobody.
So I don't understand why you'd use this word mass and weight separately when you guys have these discussions. It makes no sense in my brain. I can't justify it.
Maybe if you can qualify it in terms of ice creams, it might make it easier to understand.
Okay, well, let's try ice cream.
Listen. If I had 2 ice creams on Earth,
yeah,
2 ice creams on the moon, which one?
But this is the point. How do you prove this? That's what I'm saying. You can't go to the moon. So you guys are using a word that you can't prove is what I'm saying. Because you're saying mass is used for the idea because you have gravity, supposedly, correct?
When does it matter, gods, anyway?
What does it matter?
Yeah, we're using the wrong words.
It does, because when I listen to you guys have these discussions about gravity and downward force and all this other stuff, you use the word mass. And I'm not so sure it's necessary to look at it. It seems to me like you're muddying the waters when they don't need to be muddied. It's a lot more simpler.
You're just failing to understand that mass is the amount of matter in an object, and weight is a measurement of the pull on the object.
Who says there needs to be a pull?
Yeah, there's no pull.
Prove it.
But
no,
prove that there is.
There is. Yeah, you need to prove there is.
No, you said there isn't. Prove it.
I didn't say there isn't. I said who says there needs to be a pull.
Okay, I'm joshing. Anyway, 2 ice creams on Earth, 2 ice creams on Moon. Which one wins?
Prove it. Yeah, but that's only in a fairy tale story. If you want to say it's a fairy tale story, well, then we can have that discussion. But if you want to talk actual proof, you can't prove to me how much I weigh on the moon. Whether I could even get to the moon or not could be up for discussion and debate. So why would you use that example?
Well, which one has the most optical downward force slant on them?
Who knows? Can you prove that the moon even has an optical downward force slant to it? Can you prove that Earth has an optical downward force slant to it? Because once you do or can, well, then we can have this discussion.
No, I think you'll find on Earth we have an upward acceleration effect.
I don't feel it.
Don't fall for it. He's winding you up.
I'm not wound up. I'm saying I don't feel it.
Well, no, you're involved in the conversation, so he's winding you up.
Well, I might be involved in the conversation, but whether or not I get wound up is 2 different stories.
Okay, wound up, maybe. Okay.
Just a bit of Friday fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not wound up. I was hoping for some clarification on the mass, but it's just as I suspected. It just seems like to me, and I'm not a very educated guy, so maybe it's just my lack of education, but I just see it as semantics. I don't see any proof to it whatsoever, because it's often used in the context to be able to explain the difference between Earth and the moon, or Earth and Mars.
Would you like me to explain?
Wow, Jesus Christ.
Weight is the force that the Earth exerts on you. Mass is the amount of stuff. And that's represented best by a little formula I can show you, which just relates the two so you can see them. And that's this formula here. I don't know if Nathan doesn't show me, you'll have to click on my thing here. This here is the formula for the relationship between weight and mass. There's W for weight. There's your mass. And there's little g. And
So what's
this-
little g?
Little g is acceleration due to gravity, which is about 10 meters per second per second.
What's the
So how do you
scientific?
prove
Hold
that?
on. What's the scientific validation for that? Didn't we go through this yesterday with the Cavendish experiment?
Here we go.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, Nathan, there's a outstanding point there that you might be interested in. Might help you sort your lack of thinking out. You see, the thing here, this little equation here. That has three variables that you can change, and you don't seem to understand that you can change any three of those variables, and those together cause the force, which is the force exerted in the Cavendish experiment.
Sorry, a
And you can
mathematical
change any
variable.
one- Hold on, you've interrupted me.
Yeah, I'm gonna. A mathematical variable doesn't cause anything. To assert that maths causes something is utter stupidity and buffoonery.
Those three variables together cause the force.
I'll say it again because you didn't listen. To assert that maths is the cause of something is preposterous. It's ludicrous and it demonstrates your absolute stupidity.
No, you're a reality denier. Every single.
Sorry, this is not reality. You've just shown me a mathematical formula and asserted it is the cause of something. That's because you are stupid.
No, you're stupid. The whole.
You know, that just saying I'm stupid, right? I'll say it again for a third time because Rumpus is slow. To assert that a mathematical formula is the cause of something. Now, in science, a cause would be an independent variable. Not a mathematical formula, but something you can manipulate and vary as a researcher. Something that you can actually interact with. Not a mathematical formula. To assert such nonsense is utter stupidity on the part of Rumpus.
Don't understand
Rumpus,
this.
stop
It's
talking,
your problem.
Rumpus. Stop talking, Rumpus.
Well, he's interrupting me.
yeah, but
Excuse
no
me,
one
this is
can-
my
no one can
hangout.
hear. It's
This
not-
is my
it's not
hangout.
helpful.
Yeah,
I'll
you're being an
talk.
idiot.
Sorry,
This will clear
you're
up
going to
the
insult
whole
the host.
misunderstanding.
Excuse me. Why are you insulting the host of this hangout? That's me. You've just called
Well,
me an
you,
idiot.
you insult everybody all the time.
Yeah, I am demonstrating your stupidity to
No, you're not. You're
assert.
demonstrating
Now you're
your
talking over me, Rumpus.
Yeah, but you're demonstrating.
To
your
assert your stupidity, and you're interrupting. So is it okay for you to
Validating.
assert that I'm an idiot,
You are.
but me not assert that you're an idiot because you have
You-
asserted that mathematics is the cause of something? An independent variable in scientific terms. In mathematical terms, you can manipulate whatever variables you like. In science, we have an independent variable, the single, sole cause of an effect. That is what
don't
you.
under- you
That
don't
is what you.
understand. It's a
Why are you now
combination.
talking over me again, Rumpus? You got one last chance. That's your second
Okay,
strike.
go ahead,
Talk
go
over me again, and you get kicked out. Simple.
Go ahead.
You don't have to give me permission. This is my hangout, Rumpus. So I will talk at my leisure, and when you interrupt again, I will eject you.
Okay.
In science, we have an independent variable. One.
Three of them.
No, one. That's
Three
the.
in this one.
In that one, that makes it unscientific, I'm afraid, Rumpus.
No, you change one at each time. You control.
I don't care what you
control
do
variables.
in your maths.
You know what
In
control
science, Rumpus, we have an singular. Now I'm going to talk really slowly because
You know, control
you're
variables
interrupting
as
me
well.
again. I'm going to talk really slowly
you know what
because
controlled variables
you're
is?
interrupting me again. Because you are slow. In science, Rumpus, we have an independent variable. One. Singular. And you, as a researcher, manipulate that single independent variable in order to validate or invalidate the cause. Who's doing that? Mute yourself if you're not talking. It validates or... Why have I got to go through everybody muting them? Just mute if you're not talking. It's simple. You go through and you validate or invalidate your hypothesis, which is your scientific prediction. So you have one independent variable that you will validate or invalidate through systematic experimentation. Now, you might have three variables in your mathematics equation, but that's not science.
I got muted.
Are you still there, Rumpus?
Right, okay. Yeah, so just saying, what Nathan doesn't understand in an experiment, it's not just one thing that has the cause, it's the combination of three things, in this particular case, that cause and effect. You pick on one variable to change, and that becomes your independent variable, and the other two, in this particular case, become your controlled variables. So
Wrong. You have a single independent variable. A control is not a variable. And if you are having multiple variables that are substituted as independent variables, then you do not have science.
You do, because you have controlled variables.
No, you do not. Do not contradict this. This is science. And it is very annoying when somebody as ignorant and as stupid as you asserts that you can have multiple independent variables. Now, I will ask you a question, Rumpus, and I'd like a direct answer to my question. So shut up and open your ears. You asserted yesterday that one of your independent variables was the mass of the Earth.
Well, not in the chemistry experiment, it isn't.
Excuse me. Unless you are a liar, that was your precise words.
No. You got it wrong.
Sorry, I will then snip out those words. I will get a third denial from you and snip them out, edit them together, and label you a liar.
Excellent. In the Cavendish experiment, one of the masses is not the Earth. You have two masses that are two balls, and you measure the attraction between them. But in normal gravitational situations, like with scales, then yes, you can have the Earth is one of your masses. But it depends what you're doing. In the Cavendish experiment with the torsion bar, you have two separate masses. You have three variables to play with, one of which you make your independent variable. The two others become your controlled variables. What you don't understand in the scientific experiment, Nathan, is that you have more than one variable to play with, and you can pick on which one you make your independent variable. In the case of this experiment, you have three variables, and you make one of them, as you say, you could only vary one. That becomes your independent variable. You fix the other two. Quantum Eraser even understands this. You have controlled variables and you have independent variables, because you never have an experiment. Usually you don't have an experiment in which there's just one variable that causes the effect. In this case, you can see there are three variables, and a constant with the big letter G. So you have your Cavendish experiment where you have two masses and a distance between them. Now, I did offer yesterday a radius, which is actually, I was trying to do that to make it clear that what variables you could play with. But actually in the Cavendish experiment, because the actual torsion bar moves, it actually changes the radius. So that would actually be a poor selection of a variable, because that actually moves to reflect the forces that take place. But the thing you don't understand, and Quantum Razor I think does, is that in something like this, you have three variables and you make your independent variable one of them, then you play with that, holding the other two as controlled variables. You will find this very enlightening if you go and think about this for a bit.
Then it's not science. If you have other variables, it's not science.
Go and look up controlled variables.
Excuse me.
Quantum Eraser.
You are
Quantum Eraser has
wrong.
this in his little bits. Your little sycophantic.
Sorry, I've just let you babble on for ages. You've given me about 3 breaths. So what I'm going to do now live is go to the video that you claim you didn't say that the Earth and its mass was an independent variable, and we'll hear what you've got to say. Independent variable for the Cavendish experiment.
Well, I could pick on one or two to play with. Like I've got the.
Just give me one. Just listen. Give me one.
Okay, I can change the radius. Can be the one I'll pick on, because I could pick on 2 of the 3. One's the mass of the Earth. One's.
Did you hear that? Excuse me, Rumpus. Okay. Did you hear that?
You're right. I misspoke.
You are a liar, not a misspeaker. A liar. I asked you to deny it 3 times and made you aware of the consequences. You are a liar.
No, you don't understand what a lie is then.
Yeah, I understand your intention to deceive with incorrect information.
You think that's a lie? You don't understand what a lie is.
Yes, your intention was to deceive. You have just told us that you are not using the mass of the Earth as a variable, and you have given us a very detailed explanation as to why and what you will use, contrary to what you said yesterday. Your intention to deceive is absolutely apparent, Rumpus. You are a liar.
You don't know what a liar is then?
Yes, somebody who uses incorrect information with the intention to deceive. Your intention was to deceive. So, given that we've now found out your lie and exposed your intention to deceive, and you have conceded that it is a variable.
You don't know what a lie is, do you, Nathan?
Sorry, let's just establish. Is the mass of the Earth one of your variables? Yes
Not
or
in
no?
the Cavendish experiment, no.
Really? That's interesting. Let's just hear exactly what Rumpus had to say again yesterday. Singular, independent variable for the Cavendish experiment.
Well, I could pick on one or two to play with. Like I've got the.
Just give me one. Just listen. Give me one.
Okay. Okay, I can change the radius. Can be the one I'll pick on because I could pick on 2 of the 3. One's the mass of the Earth. One's.
Give me the singular, independent variable for the Cavendish experiment.
Well, I could pick on one or two to play with. Like I've got the.
Just give me one. Just listen. Give me one.
Okay. Okay, I can change the radius. Can be the one I'll pick on because I could pick on 2 of the 3. One's the mass of the Earth. One's the.
Give me the singular, independent variable for the Cavendish experiment. That was quite clear, Rumpus. I was quite clear. I said, give me the single independent variable for the Cavendish experiment. Stop talking. Stop talking, Rumpus, you outright liar.
There are 3 you can pick on, you idiot. You don't understand. There are 3 independent variables you can.
I'll ask my question again. Is the mass of the Earth one of your independent variables as asserted yesterday?
I misspoke. It's not in the Cavendish experiment. It's not one of the independent variables. No.
Sorry, you made it quite clear yesterday that it was.
I misspoke. I just told you.
So the mass of the Earth is not an independent variable?
Not in the Cavendish experiment, no.
So, answer me this. The experiment was set up to weigh the mass of the Earth.
That was one of its objectives, yes, which you can do having
Excuse me, you've just confirmed what you have just denied. So now, Rumpus, we have a glaring contradiction from a liar.
You're an idiot.
That's your best response. I'll say it again. We have a lot of word salad and a lot of lies and a lot of contradictions from you, Rumpus. I'm making this abundantly clear to my audience. Do you want me to repeat your lie that you denied 3 times?
You don't know what a lie is, do you?
Yes, an intention to deceive with incorrect information. So you have absolutely demonstrated your intention to deceive here, Rumpus.
You don't understand what a lie is.
Yes, an intention to deceive with incorrect false information. I've said it about 4 times.
And you got it wrong.
Right. I'm not going to get into what you think a lie is. You said something, I said you were wrong, and on 3 separate occasions, you told me that I was wrong in my assertion. 3 times, I said deny it again and I'll label you a liar. You denied it a 3rd time, then I played the clip, then you said you misspoke. Your intention to deceive is absolutely What is your problem?
Used it to measure the mass of the Earth.
So hold on. So we are measuring the mass of the Earth.
You can use the experiment to measure the mass of the Earth. But
Sorry.
It doesn't do it directly.
So we're not measuring the mass of the Earth.
Let me give you a sentence, Nathan. If you let me finish a sentence, we'll perhaps get through all this and stop this garbage verbiage. Right. The experiment is determining the value of G in the equation that presumably you're not showing here. Once you've determined the value of big G, you can then determine the mass of the Earth from knowing what the forces of a mass is that you can control. So it does 2 things, this experiment. 1, it evaluates the value of big G. 2, you can then use that valuation of big G to evaluate the mass of the Earth. So the reason I misspoke was because Cavendish actually was trying to use it to measure the mass of the Earth, but he did so by initially determining the value of G. So that's why I misspoke, because he had a different objective. But
so what was, sorry, Rumpus, so again, what was the observed phenomena in the experiment?
Torsion by rotation.
So the effect is torsion bar rotation.
Correct. The angle, yes, correct.
Right. That's not gravity.
Correct. But it's caused by gravity.
Oh, sorry. It's caused by gravity. So the cause in an experiment would be the independent variable. So what's the independent variable?
There are 3 I can pick off. This is what you don't understand. It's a
No, I do understand. We have one independent variable in the scientific method, Rumpus. Just one. And as we go forward with our prediction, a hypothesis, we validate or invalidate that single independent variable. If we invalidate it, it goes away. We move on to another one. It doesn't become a control because you've invalidated it.
Got the answer for you. Right. If you
I'm not asking a question. I am telling you what the scientific method is because you are stupid and require me to school you.
Here's the formula.
You don't need to give me formulas. We're talking about science. If and then relationships. Cause and effect. The effect being torsion bar twist. The cause, independent variable, being, according to you now, gravity. Right, Rumpus? Gravity. So, if it's caused by gravity, then you need to show a causal relationship with, guess what? The scientific method. Isolation of variables. How slow do you need me to talk to you, Rumpus, to drill this simple concept into
you.
You
don't understand that 3 things together can cause an effect. You only.
I'm sure they can, but isolating the singular cause of an effect would be called science.
Which one to isolate? You can pick on one of the 3 to isolate.
So once you've isolated them, and then you perform the experiment, do you validate or invalidate that single independent variable?
Of course you validate it, but it's not that...
Sorry, of course you validate it.
That again.
You said, of course you validate it. A hypothesis has got 2 sides to it.
Oh, well, it would validate in this experiment.
Oh, you've said it again. What do you mean it would? You have 2 sides
validated.
To a hypothesis.
Yes, and this experiment's been validated. This hypothesis has been validated into a theory.
Really?
It's been proved.
So yesterday, you told us that the cause of the effect of torsion bar twist, not gravity, was radius. Now, radius doesn't cause anything. Hold on, Rumpus, you're doing it again. You're talking over me.
Okay.
Radius doesn't cause anything. Same as mathematical formulas are not the you're doing it again. Are not the scientific cause of things. You are stupid and need this explaining to you.
Right.
Maths.
Right.
No. It's all right, stupid. Just listen. I know you're like most ignorant people. You talk when you should listen. So listen.
You know, you're the one listening. You've made a
I
statement.
don't, Rumpus. I know what I'm talking about. You are scientifically illiterate because you automatically assume that you have validated a concept as a scientific cause of something, an equation as a scientific cause. That is because you are stupid. There is no other words. I have to speak very slowly to you because you are slow, and it's taking a long time to drill the scientific method into you, Rumpus. It's tedious. You're dull and stupid if I have to continually point out that you validate or invalidate an independent variable as the sole cause of the effect. Not multiples, one. But because you're dumb, you don't get it. I can't help your stupidity, Rumpus. That's your problem.
Things that come together that make the effect. That's what you don't understand. You've got a fundamental misunderstanding of what the independent variable is doing. It's the combination of 3 variables in this particular case.
Sorry, independent variable is singular.
Yes, but that when the
So
experiment.
why do you keep saying yes, then saying it's the combination of three? Is it because you are stupid?
No, you're stupid. You don't seem to understand. It's the combination of three things here that are.
No. You establish the sole cause of the effect. A. The letter A. Singular. Okay? Singular. Independent. Not dependent on lots of other variables. An independent variable. And what you do going forward is validate that as the cause or invalidate it as the cause. If you validate it as the cause, it is a validated cause. You have established the cause, not 3, 1. Okay, Dumbo, one
Can't
variable.
count beyond one, can you, Nathan? You don't understand. There are two components to understanding this thing. There's the independent variable that you change by itself, as you say. You only change one thing, but it's in combination in the
No, it's not in combination. Wrong. You are stupid.
Anybody watching this or anybody listening to this will think you're a complete idiot. Well,
No, I understand what the word independent means. That means not dependent on any other things. It means it's independent. So you say yes, it is one independent variable on its own. But you've also got two others. That's because you're stupid.
Also interact with it, Nathan, to cause the effect.
Then it's not science. You are not establishing the cause of the effect. You have what's called a limitation on your hypothesis because you cannot isolate the cause. You have multiple variables. So you sit outside of science.
Aren't you, Nathan? You're frightened of reality. You do not like me. You want to censor me is the only argument you've got. Consider this, for instance. Imagine being punched in the face.
No, you're all right, thank you. Don't want to imagine being punched in the face. Imagine that you are in a world where you understand the scientific method, Rumpus. I know it's a world so far apart from where you are. One day you will understand the word independent. One day. I have faith that one day you will understand what singular means. One day.
I do, Nathan, but you can't count beyond one.
You don't need to count beyond one. You just need one independent variable to perform the scientific method. You establish the cause of the effect. That's what you do in science.
Demonstrate you're not scared of this equation.
I'm not scared of maths. Tell me that you're not scared of the scientific method and that's why you're playing so dumb and constantly getting it wrong. Is it because you are a slave to the equations that you think I fear? I don't fear your pathetic mathematics. I don't fear them one little bit.
Shows how three things come together and demonstrate the effect. You're scared of this equation because you've got...
Sorry, equations are not the cause of things. Independent variables can be scientifically validated as one singular cause of an effect. Not multiples, just the one. If you have multiple things causing things, you have a limitation on your hypothesis. It's very simple, but I have to constantly say it very slowly to you, to the point that you eventually concede and say, yes, we only have one independent variable. We only have one cause of the effect that we will scientifically validate or invalidate, and then you'll concede it, and then you'll tell me about the two others that you're going to incorporate.
Show the equation,
because
show
you're
everybody, all the audience, this equation here will then invalidate your whole position you've had for the last few days.
The way you invalidate something in science is with experimentation, not with mathematical formulas.
This represents the hypothesis, Nathan.
Excuse me, a hypothesis is a very special kind of prediction. That would be in science. It's a scientific prediction. That, sir, is a hypothesis. And in a hypothesis, a scientific prediction, something Rumpus is so far away from ever understanding. In a scientific hypothesis, you establish your predicted cause of the effect. And that cause is an independent variable, something that you, as the researcher, can vary and manipulate in order to cause the effect. If, through systematic experimentation, you validate your hypothesis, that would be your prediction, then you have established the cause of the effect. If, on the other hand, in your systematic experimentation, you invalidate your scientific prediction, the hypothesis, then your independent variable is invalidated as the cause of the effect. At which point, you must find the other cause if you are to propose one. Then you make a new hypothesis with a new independent variable, with a new presumed cause of the effect. And again, you go through systematic experimentation on the singular one independent variable to validate or invalidate that as the single cause of the effect. And if it is not, you then get your next variable and you make a new hypothesis to validate or invalidate your new singular independent variable as the cause of the effect. Now that is how you would process a series of 3 independent variables. They don't interact with each other, they're independent. And once you have experimented, you either validate them or invalidate them as the cause. You've got 1. That's science. The Cavendish experiment has got 3. So it's not science.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Any closing comments? Or have I concisely gone through what science is?
I'm at the bar. What does everybody want?
Well, I'm deaf right now because the Rumpus has like blown my eardrums, constantly speaking whilst Nathan was.
For
Yeah.
so long.
Just rude. Can't help
He never
himself.
shut up, did he?
Dare I ask a question about this Cavendish experiment? I do have one question about it.
Nobody's rejecting. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I understand from the experiment is he put this contraption inside a shed and then proceeded
With Dell.
proceeded to observe from a distance with some kind of telescope or binoculars, whatever, some kind of optical device, because he was at a fair enough distance away that it was hard to see. Is that correct?
We have a new guest.
According-
Who's that?
How you doing? Blanco, is it Blanca? How you doing?
Hello? You have to come off, otherwise you're going to get kicked.
Kick him out of the back chat if you can. Sorry, Alan
Is that
and Gods. Go ahead.
is that correct? That he observed from a distance this device in the shed in order to not have any effect from his body, his mass of his body on the, in quotation marks, experiment. Do I have the story correct? Anybody?
I was waiting for Alan.
I'm sorry, I'm stirring my tea.
You had a big outburst of laughter a moment ago when he started explaining this, so I assumed you knew all about it enough to...
I was laughing at the point that he said it was 6 foot wide and in a shed. I said it.
I didn't say 6 foot wide.
Was it in Dell's shed?
I said you put a device in a shed and observed from a great enough distance that he needed some kind of optical device in order to observe it, because he didn't want his body to affect the so-called experiment. Is that correct? I want to make sure I understand it properly first. Okay, so my question is, if he was concerned about his body affecting the experiment, which I use that term loosely, of course, but I'm just playing along with the narrative. If he was concerned about his body affecting his experiment, did he take into consideration the effect of the shed that he built around the device affecting the experiment? Is that in the formula? No. No?
Out of interest, what effect do you think the shed would have?
That's a question to him.
Out of
Don't ask him a question.
What effect
Alan,
does his body have?
I don't... hold on. Did you hear the question, Alan?
Not answering is dishonest, Alan. Did you hear the question?
Does this mean I won my first debate on the Nathan Oakley show?
I would say so. I'd say you've pretty much demolished the guy.
Well, I do have other questions.
No. Just
Not
ask
about...
I would suggest you ask the same question.
Okay.
Go ahead, ask again.
Well, my question still stands. Was the effect, if he was concerned about his body having an effect on the experiment, the shed that he built around the device to...
Oh, Alan, have you kicked everybody? Bad sportsmanship, Alan. What gives, Alan? Second time you've done that. Well, I guess that's the end of the show because it's too late in the day for me to start a new one. So with that, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!